Welcome, everyone. This is Gaia Gaius, and welcome to my final video on my analysis and story breakdown series of Gundam Walpurgis. This project has been a long time in the works, pretty much the most challenging project I've ever attempted. At first, I wasn't sure if I even wanted to do a recap of the story, considering how complex and confusing this story is, but nonetheless, I am going to give you one that hopefully irons out the timeline for you as we head out into these final chapters. Our story began in Walpurgis Eve. It began with the introduction of Srana Karn, the younger sister of Haman. After experiencing her sister's death at the hands of Judo Ashta, Srana undergoes intense and painful cyber newtype enhancement surgery to carry on her sister's legacy as the new leader of the Neo-Zeon remnants. She now bears a warped and distorted version of her sister's personality and appearance. After surviving the destruction of the Jupitrus during the Grips War and witnessing the death of Paptimus Scirocco, a close friend of Shurocco's by the name of Tonio Mannheim flees from a secretive enclave of mercenaries turned Titans remnants who seek to advance the lost work of Shurocco for their own nefarious purposes. Seeing their evil intentions, he escapes from their base of operations and flees to Anaheim Electronics along with his son, whom the Enclave desires to use as a guinea pig for their projects. After gaining an agreement with Anaheim, Tonio begins work on developing the last mobile suit Shurocco had ever drawn up plans for, his own design for a Gundam, the Over.ON. This machine is equipped with a powerful new piece of technology, a biosensor of Shurocco's conception. However, after his work becomes exposed due to Anaheim's meddling, he flees with his research to his now home colony at Side 2. Raymond McInnes, an engineer belonging to Anaheim, madly desired to see Shurocco's work continued. After the details of the biosensor, dubbed the Grimoire, are leaked and given to Srana and her Neo-Zeon forces, Raymond conspires with an AUG Commodore to help him find and discover the Enclave that created these mysterious pieces of technology, murdering his superiors at Anaheim to cover up his tracks as he sets out on a mad witch hunt. Federica Herme, after the death of her mother in the One-Year War, she is the daughter of the aforementioned AUG Commodore. She is given a new ship, the Argana Kai-class vessel Yulong, to help hunt down Tonio Mannheim before the information he knows falls into the hands of Neo-Zeon, Raymond himself coming along to see this capture through. Srana, after capturing a member of the Enclave by the name of Fiorina Fili, uses her to find out more of Shurocco's secrets, only for her to find the abandoned Gundam Over.ON, and Fiorina breaking free and stealing it to bring to Tonio. Meanwhile, on the Side 2 colony where Tonio is living, an instant battle breaks out outside the colony between Srana and the crew of the Yulong as the two forces meet, Tonio's son Masahiro being caught in the crossfire. He awakes though to his father, who refuses to give him answers to all of this, as he's been completely kept in the dark of all of this. Ultimately, his father is killed, and Raymond tries to capture the young Masahiro to get answers out of him, only for Fiorina to appear and Masahiro taking the Gundam under his control, unleashing a strange psychic power that paralyzes all who come into contact with the Gundam. After being overcome by a strange and sinister voice in his head and sinking an entire cruiser with the unmatched power of the Over.ON, Masahiro defends the Yulong from Srana's forces and is brought to Granada, where he hopes to get answers from the Commodore. While being studied, he meets a young cyber newtype by the name of Elise, who pilots another mobile suit that the Commodore had been given that utilizes a grimoire of its own, the Fafnir, a massive blue double Zeta Gundam with immense power. After not receiving the answers Masahiro demanded and being forced to try and activate the Gundam under the threat of dissection, the Anaheim engineer Raymond betrays the Commodore, killing the man and promptly fleeing with Elise to go find the Enclave and the place where Shurocco's followers have gathered. After managing to subdue Elise and convince her to side with the AUG, Masahiro's dark persona finally makes its full appearance, simply called Mashiro. It reveals to him that he's a clone, a scientific experiment done by Tonio to implant the memories of Shurocco into another living host, the darker half of himself being the manifestation of these memories. Breaking free from the Yulong and siding with Raymond, Mashiro guides him and his cronies to a place of immense power, the Orpheus, a massive psycho weapon Shurocco had constructed with the power to mind control people and bend them to his will. After Federica loses her brother, who had sided with Srana during this crisis, the heroes managed to finally defeat Mashiro, only for the superweapon to activate upon his demise, beginning to absorb all in the vicinity using its mind-controlling aura. Fiorina, after being forced back into the Enclave after escaping, is brought before their leader, a Titan's remnant and comrade of Shurocco's named Hyphen, who himself madly seeks to use Shurocco's technology to advance his own agenda. She manages to psychically link with Masahiro, now free of his evil curse, and he faces the massive Orpheus in a colossal duel of psychic proportions. Ultimately, Masahiro is victorious, but now the Titan's remnants of the Storm Garden are preparing to flee. Fiorina is captured and they plan to take their secrets with them to Jupiter, all so that they can continue their war at a future point. Upon reaching the massive cruiser with the Enclave on board, Masahiro faces his final opponents, who've unleashed the massive Titania 2 mobile suit upon him to stop him in his tracks, with the final battle erupting over the remains of the superweapon. Fiorina being sent flying out into the space during the chaos, Masahiro readies for his final showdown with the dead echoes of Paptimus Scirocco. Now, let's finish our quest with Mobile Suit Gundam Walpurgis, the final Volume 10. All images and characters are owned by their respective companies and creators. Fiorina flies out into the void of space, Masahiro crying out to her, "No, don't die!" He tries to reach out for her, with the massive Titania staring him down as he does so. We turn to Federica. The ship has crashed into the core of the Orpheus. She manages to escape the vessel, floating in a normal suit as she explores the ruins of the colossal superweapon. She can sense Masahiro's cries in the void, but she can't focus on that right now. She has to focus on the task at hand. She sees the Demeter sitting in the open, abandoned. Haman, she's still alive. She goes off to find her. She finds a little service corridor near the Demeter, and she goes in to follow it, as it's already lit. As she enters the massive melted structure, she passes by the remains of Ambrosia. She gazes at the destroyed remains of all the other countless clones that had died in their cryopods. She gets a good look at one of them, and it's grotesque. His body, a bioroid, its skin eroded by strange crystalline protrusions, red like blood. She turns to the sound of a gun being raised. Haman. Srana. Ominous color, is it not? Federica demands to know what this stuff is, but in truth, Srana doesn't really know. But what is clear is that they both have come here seeking it. This is what Grimoire truly is. The power to bring back the dead. The power that turns Shurocco's Gundam into a monster of unparalleled darkness. But grimoires are just biosensors. Just a Psychomu, aren't they? But Srana knows what this might be. Psychomu technology's greatest obstacle was miniaturization. It took Neo Zeon years to perfect it to even fit inside of a single mobile suit. But Shurocco, he seemed to have taken a different approach. Millions of microscopic computers, all working in unison. A Psychomu device constructed from this material, intricately assembled like pages of a book. It allows for unmatched strength and incredible performance, allowing the user to control a machine using their very thoughts as a means of operation. It seems that Shurocco would use this material, furthering its development, to allow it to flow through the body of a cyber newtype. What is this material, you might ask? Well, in a way, it's very much like a material we would see years later in the Universal Century. Psychoframe. Only Shurocco and his followers had took it a step further in their research, converting the clones of Tonio Oaks into these things. Haman herself truly believes that someday with this technology, though, maybe mobile suits and humans will one day become indistinguishable. If you think about it, this ominous form they take is somewhat brilliant. A technology that could guide humanity into the future. Federica, though, sarcastically thanks her. "You're so kind. I didn't think you'd really have the guts to tell me all this." She chuckles. "It's a mercy, not a kindness. I'd hate it if you had to come all this way and not get the answers you searched for. That is, before you died." She doesn't believe her, though. "No, you did this because you wanted someone to talk to, didn't you?" "Nonsense. Am I not wrong?" A sense fills Srana's heart. causing her to lower her weapon. The truth about these two is that they're both people who've lost parents and siblings to these conflicts. Srana then believes, perhaps you're right. You came to this place with a one-way ticket. I'm honestly curious how foolish you honestly think you are. It was a fun sideshow, but I must destroy you. She raises her gun again. Farewell. She pulls the trigger. Federica, reeling from the strike, diving to cover and drawing her own sidearm. Come on! Bullets ricochet off the shattered cryo chambers. Srana, sensing the spirit of Anardo, shielding his sister, throwing off her aim. So, this is her, huh? Federica demands to know, herself not knowing why this false Haman returned from the dead. Why did you come back from the dead? To start another war? That's exactly it. As long as the Federation doesn't change its behavior, the resistance of the Spacenoids will always continue. But the Federation can change. Why resort to such violence? That's only the words of the victors. It was your brother who joined Neo Zeon to defeat the Federation. It's because of the Ayug. They gave up on him and he saw through their betrayal. Federica sees her. Srana, with her arms wide open, she tries to pull the trigger, only for the Demeter to smash through the chamber, knocking Federica back. Srana raising her gun, only once again for Enardo's spirit to stand before his sister in defiance. The girl dazed from the blast. She sees Srana go into the Demeter's cockpit. I see. So, you're exactly what I thought you were. How unkind. She pulls a detonator switch from her belt and clicks it. The massive Yulong exploding deep inside the core of the massive superweapons remains, setting off a massive chain reaction that spreads to the entire superstructure. No! The ship! How could I have been so blind? She blasts out of the ruins, the blast consuming the massive superweapon in a fiery explosion, the entire ship self-destructing. Damn you! How dare you! There's no way we can reconstruct it now! However, she looks down at the Demeter's hands. They have what they need. A single dead clone. Its skin crystallized with the strange psycho-material. The blast engulfs the Orpheus, the Demeter blasting off out of the massive cloud of smoke. She tries to call for her reinforcements, but there's one more thing chasing behind her. The Masala still stands. No! Fall! I won't let you take that with you! Get lost, witch! There's nothing you can do to stop me! She fires the Demeter's funnels, firing behind her and impaling the Masala with a burst of beams, but it still doesn't die. What? Even if it cost me my life, I made a promise to Masahiro. I am not taking my sights off you. But Storm has abandoned you. There's no reason for you to keep fighting. Yes, there is. I have a reason. My sister. The girl feels a sensation. Sister? Memories. How dare you mention the word sister? How dare you try to hurt my heart? No, this feeling you have, this feeling I have, I'm not letting go. As long as both me and my sister are alive, sisters we shall remain. Sisters. Memories. Haman and Srana. She remembers the last moments before Haman left to go into that last battle. The woman preparing to head out to face Glemmy's traitors as Axis crashes and destroys Core 3. Good to see you, Srana. I've been waiting. I'm heading out soon. You might want to make this brief. You're leaving? She asks her why she's even fighting. What could she still be fighting for? Core 3 is gone. I have a grudge to settle with him. No, you can't. What will happen to everyone if you're gone? But Haman doesn't say a word to her. What about our family? Do you hate me? Why are you doing this? Is it just for your own selfish gain? Yes. It's because I am selfish, Srana. I do it for revenge. The Zabbies. They let our older sister Marlene Karn die. They attacked the Earth without mercy. They locked us away here on Axis before the war's end. And thus, I turned their princess into my pawn. Even if you decide to leave me, I will keep going, regardless if I get what I want or not. Even though our troops betrayed us and even one another. I suppose this betrayal is the result of the selfishness I feel. Glemmy's insurrection, though, wasn't your fault, though. Haman then asks her why. Why did she come back to her? Even after she dropped the colony on Dublin. Even after she destroyed Core 3 with the asteroid of Axis. Why? She thought she didn't want to see her face again. But it's simple. They're sisters. An officer comes into the room. It's time to go. Srana telling her sister to wait, but Haman tells her not to worry. She's wearing a normal suit this time. She'll survive even if her mobile suit is destroyed. You'll come back, right? I will. My sister's waiting for me, after all. The young Srana wishing her sister good luck. The door is closing. the memories striking back into the mind of Srana, overpowering the conditioning done to her mind. It causes her pain. She curses out, telling her own emotions to shut up, but Concetta tells her not to run from it. You have to face your memories. You have to face the emotions you feel. That's not funny. No one can deny Haman! The Masala firing a beam from its last cannon, destroying the Demeter's boosters, and in an act of sheer spite, the Demeter fires its funnels again, completely destroying the Masala, killing Concetta, her Psychomu exploding with electrifying power. The blast consumes her, her spirit soaring out of the light, flying into the Demeter's grimoire, possessing the machine. The pain from the absorption sends a ripple through Srana, the shocking, painful psychic resonance leaving her to break, tears streaming from her face. I killed her, Haman. I killed her. She's dead. She's dead. Just like you. You're gone. Like her. What have I done? She remembers when she first underwent the surgery. The doctors warning her that by doing this, she might lose everything. Her mind, her sanity, her very own existence could be forfeited from this procedure. But it didn't matter then. What she believed was Neo-Zeon needed a leader, one better than herself. Day by day, those within their ranks continue to fight amongst each other. There's even a rumor that Shar Aznable has begun to reemerge and unify them. Zeon will perish if they follow that path. What they need is the wisdom of a leader they once had. They need Haman. Her mind floats to the truth she had tried to abandon. She's not her sister. She is Srana, daughter of Maharaja. The sudden realization calls upon an echo inside her soul, a fragment of what was Haman, her sister. I lied to them. I lied to all of them. I deceived them just as you did. How many soldiers did I sacrifice in your name? I know. What you did was not like you. To be replaced by someone who hates conflict. Someone like you. I don't know if that's something I would have wanted. I couldn't do anything for you when you most needed it. I was a coward, one who was too scared to get her hands dirty. I let myself shoulder everything you had done. She sighs, peacefully, not spitefully. You certainly are a fool, sister. It's okay. There were people for me trying to help me in the end. It gave me relief when I was fighting. So go back to what you once were. Be kind, Srana, caring, and share your love with the rest of the world. Sister. And with that realization, reaching deep inside her heart, Srana is reborn, purged of the evil memories of Haman. Thane fights against the Zaku machineries. Damaged Nemos from the still active Salamis escorts still stand with him, beams flying left and right. But the Zakus are withdrawing. He gets a message from Roxanne, herself telling him to retreat as well. Debris from the colossal superweapon tries to collide with the ship as the Salamis steers hard to the right. The Zakus themselves wondering where the heck Srana is, trying to get a hold of her. They spot her, only for the pieces of debris to crush the Zakus and potentially the Demeter as they all desperately try to flee. Fiorina, Shamal, Masahiro calls to her, her body floating into the vacuum. No normal suit, blindfolded. He screams to her, "Don't die!" But he sees an aura, one that links the Titania. Mechanical tendrils grab hold of her, drawing her into the machine's cockpit. "No! What are you doing to her?" The cockpit shuts, the girl placed inside and bound to the machine's empty pilot seat, the tendrils forcefully injecting her with cyber-newtype control drugs. Masahiro senses her. She's fading. Hyphen as well can see the girl from the display inside the Juno's combat bridge, his own body linked to the Titania's Psychomu remotely. Good. It seems you failed, priestess. A doll has no need for emotions. Now, finally, the Titania shall be your throne for the rest of time. Now, take this ornament as His Majesty's queen. Titania's massive beam rifle switches to a lance, the blade almost as long as the mobile suit itself. She swings, the blade cleaving the Over.ON's rifle in half. Damn it! Fee, stop! The rifle explodes, the Titania going in for a thrust. It attacks with vicious bloodlust, all out of the girl's control. He tries to sense for her, but the girl is gone. Her soul, it's empty. She speaks in a voice that doesn't sound like hers, one that sounds as Mashiro sounded to Shamal, Shurocco. She says she can hear it. She can hear Shurocco's voice. I hear it. I am his rightful queen. Shamal tries to reason with her. Don't listen to it. You entrusted me with your future, did you not? You tried to protect people. Spare them from this hardship. Please remember that. However, an echo manages to reach her. Don't listen to him, my queen. Don't be fooled by the words of the Philistines, Fiorina. Fulfill your destiny and become the absolute ruler of humanity. She gives in. I will do as you command, Master Paptimus. Masahiro sneers. This voice, it's rougher than Shamal's. It's someone else's. The Titania releases its subarms, grabbing the Over.ON as the two units clash head-on. That's it! Kill him! Yes, Master. But Masahiro can sense the truth. The voice she hears. It's not Shurocco! Hyphen is controlling you! The crazed man ordering her to kill Masahiro. The Titania goes in for a swing, the Over.ON managing to evade it. Hyphen curses. Damn it! His piloting skills are on par with Shurocco's! He barks a command to Fiorina. What are you doing? Get rid of it! If he is not eliminated, the Earth Sphere will not be saved! But Masahiro, sensing all of this madness, senses the fanatic for what he is. He tells him not to mess with him, to not speak of what he does as some kind of salvation. He's just a man who takes advantage of people. He blasts out upwards towards the combat bridge of the Juno, activating all his beam sabers at once, the man ordering Fiorina to protect him. The Titania swinging with its multiple sabers, slashing the Over.ON and damaging it heavily, the machine left smoking. Masahiro, though, still sees the man for his flaws. Sure, emotions can confuse people. They can especially hurt people. The space noids, the countless wars, even Shurocco himself. Even if sadness can be caused by sentimentality, wanting to protect one's friends, family, loved ones, even simply their own happiness, it's the reason we have hearts to begin with. Doesn't having a heart mean you want to save someone too? We must not live without the emotions that we feel. To do so is to ignore the very humanity we've been granted. Please, Fiorina, hear me. The Titania raises its lance, the crazed Hyphen calling his efforts useless. He has no power. He cannot save anyone. But Masahiro calls out to her one last time. Fiorina, please hear my voice. Come back! The Titania freezes, Fiorina's eyes wide like pools of water, the saber lowering. Hyphen is baffled. Idiot, I command you! Don't be swayed by his nonsense! Kill him now! But there's nothing he can do. Shut up! Fiorina raises the beam lance, and in one swift motion, the beam instantaneously blasts out, the beam rifle piercing the bridge of the ship with a single blow. Hyphen himself is entirely incinerated in the course of a second. Shut up! She fires again, and again, and again, the ship's bridge exploding as 5 beam rounds melt the bridge down to nothing. Masahiro tries to get her to stop firing, but the girl weeps. If she had just stayed quiet, if she hadn't have done anything that she did, no one would be dead. No one would be gone. Her sister wouldn't be gone. She has no one left. She's all alone. And soon, she feels as if she'll be amongst all of them too, dead. Don't say that! You've endured so much! You've made it all this way! No, she yells at him. She falls deeper into the despair, the voice of her cyber newtype programming taking hold, telling him to stay out of her way. She calls him a failure, a failed experiment. The Titania drawing 6 beam sabers in response to Masahiro's cries. I won't let you do it! This pain you feel, all this baggage you cling to, I won't let you have it! I won't let it take hold of you! The two machines clash, beam sabers swinging like a whirlwind. The final creations of Paptimus Scirocco dueling with every bit of emotion they have left. We turn to Srana. She drifts through space, thinking she was crushed by that debris, just like her other soldiers. But a hand holds on to her. Thane, the original pilot of the Hedgehog Gundam, the small Gundam he now pilots, pulling her through the void to safety. Why did you save me? Because the voice of an old friend told me to. In Nardo. She thanks him, her eyes seeing the spirit of her most loyal friend. Thane says he's sorry to her, but he has a mission to complete by himself. Their captain, Federica. He has to find her. Srana apologizes. She couldn't have survived that blast. There's no way. But the sense does fill her mind. She yet lives. A voice cries out over the comms. Roxanne. She's using the ship as a shield, protecting the escape craft still being loaded on as the debris from the Orpheus barrages them because of the explosion. The officers being surprised by her sudden choice to save people. However, she now realizes what she is. Despite her attitude and scowling demeanor, Roxanne knows that with this crusade, they are not really the kind of people soldiers could really aspire to be. Doing this, saving people, is the right thing that soldiers should do. The well-cast ship as well is pelted with wreckage. Jesse and his men on board are unable to maneuver the ship out of the way as colony wreckage tries to slam them. A large piece tries to hit the bridge, but Elise dives in with the Fafnir and vaporizes it in a flash of beam cannon fire. That crazy kid. I can't believe it. The girl helps the escape launches board onto the two cruisers. She looks to her left, seeing the ghost of Conchetta, a comrade, a cyber newtype just like her. She cannot hear the words that her spirit is saying, but she understands that the girl wants her to go in a certain direction, to help Masahiro. She has no way of reaching him, though. He's too far. But the realization hits her immediately as Conchetta's spirit fades. She does have the power to help them. And by doing so, in one final act, to aid Masahiro in his fight against the Titania, she charges the unit's repaired high mega cannon. At first, the power climbs, but then plummets, the girl cursing and shouting at the Fafnir for not working. She finally yells at the machine, telling it to obey to her commands, slamming her fist into the control console. Her new type abilities engaging and activating the unit's grimoire, spiking the unit's power within an instant, the energy firing out like a blazing pillar of light. As she does this, the Salamis is pelted with hailing debris. As all hope seems lost, and the ship too falls victim to the destruction, beam blasts rage out. Nemos, the Aeug. Actual reinforcements have arrived. Federation cruisers and mobile suits are dashing into the debris field, blasting pieces of wreckage to save the survivors. Leading the charge is Lent. He's come to save them. He smirks and hopes his best bud Thane isn't dead yet. The man certainly seems to carry around bad luck wherever he goes. Over with Demeter, her Zaku's finally reach her. They ask if she's okay. The Gundam is retreating, but she says to let him go. The Zaku pilots ask her, "Lady Haman, are you alright?" "No," she says. "Haman is dead, and I, Srana, am fine." She calls out for her troops to withdraw. There's nothing to save from the wreckage of the superweapon. It's completely lost. Herself and the Zaku's running before the Nemos can reach them. As she finally departs, Thane curses to her. "She told me I'll know where to find her." That's the vaguest thing I've ever heard. But he does see her, drifting through the debris, a small flare stick lighting up her location as she drifts aimlessly. Federica. She's alive. He needs more speed. He purges the Gundam's armor, releasing a small GM underneath with just a simple Gundam head. Federica sees a light. Her oxygen system is failing. At first she thinks it's the spirit of her mother, come to take her to the lands beyond. But it's not. "Every time I see you, I'm always surprised by how reckless you can be. You're just the same too, dear. I'm sorry I disappeared, and I'm sorry for this. Truth is, the Gundam's out of fuel. There's no way we're getting home." "It's okay. You being here is enough. There's one thing left. Srana, what will she do with that thing? That crystalline corpse?" But Thane tells her, "It's okay. We've done enough. Your brother is probably proud of you for everything you did." She agrees. "Is it over?" "Yes." He then asks her something. "You know what the most important thing is for one to be a pilot? Sure, people will say tactics, vigilance, technique, or even just popularity, but you know what the most important thing is to me? What's that? Luck." And with that, the two are rescued by the Aeug, the Nemos coming in to retrieve them. However, this isn't the end for our heroes. The final confrontation is still unfolding. The Gundam and the Titania clash, sabers swinging again and again, Masahiro vowing to release her from this painful suffering she feels in her heart. But the girl still believes that it's all for nothing. We all die in the end. There's no point to this life. It's meaningless to resist. Sabers swinging again and again. Plasma clashes, electrifying the space around them. But there's no way to stop this thing. It's huge. The weapons it wields leave no opening for him to disable it. But as Masahiro prays for some help, Elisa's high mega cannon blast finally reaches them. The Titania turns, its shield releasing an eye field, the blast scattering across the starry expanse. Fiorina wonders where the hell that came from, but Masahiro sees an opening. The shield took up most of its power. This is his chance. Masahiro tosses aside his saber, reaching out for her. Before he grabs hold, a voice speaks to him. It's one he's never truly known. One who you would say doesn't belong in the land of the living. It's no use. Even if you were to try and use all the strength you have to save her, what is written cannot be undone. You're my soul, my will. It will never be rewritten by the hands of mortals, and it will only lead to a cursed existence for anyone else. It would only lead to torment, amplified by the hostility of life. But people's hopes, you just ignored them? Again and again? I'm not ashamed to admit the things I'd done, but in the end, you're the exact same as I was. When one throws away their personal desires for the sake of the greater good, the loss of a single person will drive men like you and I into nothing but rage. Then why are you here? Is it not to mock me? But the voice says no. You couldn't stand to watch it. They're connected, aren't they? This girl and the Over.ON? Yes, then go. Masahiro thanks him. He pushes on the controls. He calls to the Over.ON. No, the Gundam. If this machine can truly respond to the will of humanity, then do it. Connect us. And in saying so, the Gundam hears him. The golden armor purging from its gray, colorless frame. It reaches out, both psychically and spiritually, taking hold of the Titania and halting the machine in its tracks. The soul of Shurocco himself, binding her as he was once bound by others. The two machines collide, a pulse of light so great it blinds the senses to its majesty. The Gundam placing a hand on the Titania's heart, purging the curse from Fiorina's soul. He feels its darkness, the countless souls bound by the shadow of a man who never truly cared for them, all wishing for a tyrant's return and a tyrant's guidance. But as the darkness tries to envelop him, the spirit of their lost king shields him from their grudges. You understand, do you not? A true ruler cannot be a normal person. The chaotic desires of the masses are easily overwhelmed by the emotions that they are bound to, just as you are now. But will you still walk this path? It takes him a second, but he knows in his heart the truth, the one truth that's guided him through all of this. I'm not you. Then that's that. I see you for what you truly are. I will take back what is mine. He places a hand on the boy's forehead. The memories you were given, the abilities you were forced to wield. Go. Now, live, child, as yourself, as a normal human being. He takes his hand off, departing into a glowing void we shall not ever know. Masahiro, content in knowing that he gets to do what he always does, be himself. He turns to see the vision of the kingdom, leading to the ruins of what Shurocco's realm could have been, but it lies empty, abandoned. He enters through the massive doors of a castle to a crumbling throne, over a massive black pit. Fiorina curled up in sorrow as she huddles in the darkness over a bottomless void. She's afraid. Even though the machine is the one doing all of this, her emotions are still the one thing that's real. She feels anger, hatred. Masahiro, you talk about reason and I believed you, but then again, I acted so selfishly to hurt everyone around me. Such a careless act to destroy is not like me. There's karma swirling around inside of my very existence. In every case, I shouldn't be allowed to live. But Masahiro tells her that that's not true, because he felt the same way. Shamal is me. Masahiro and Mashiro are me. I'm not immune to their mistakes, but what I can do is deny them the power to make them mine. Paptimus Scirocco, our creator, was a man who made a game out of the suffering of other people. And maybe he tried to control the destinies of others with his technology, but that's not everything he was. He thought he was the only person who could change things. He thought he had to do it himself. He was a man who could only see the world that way. The truth is that we should be everything he is and isn't. One cannot be sharp-witted, or too sensitive, or too overconfident in their beliefs or reasoning. What we must do is live in the moment. She gets up from the throne, leaving it behind. Like walking a tightrope blindfolded? Yes. So as we don't fall into the darkness, we must connect with people. Their hands meet, the Titania sparking as it begins to explode, the unit's escape pod flying out of the machine. He tries to grab it as he flies off, his hands losing their sense of direction. The memories, Shurocco, everything that was allowing him to excel is gone. It takes him some time to get a handle of it, but he manages to get the suit to pick up the pod as it flies, himself missing several times. Finally, he catches hold of her. He calls out to her over the comms. She's alive, but she too doesn't remember anything either. Who she is, where she is. She doesn't even remember her own name, but with Masahiro's help, she regains it. The very mention of his name reaffirming something deep down. She had a job to do, and Masahiro knows that. Their job now, though, is to love, and think of the wonderful future that the two of them will build together as free individuals, ending the series of Walpurgis on a beautiful, graceful note. Gundam Walpurgis. How you have broken me. This project has been the most challenging Gundam story I have ever attempted thus far. It's filled with so many contrived and convoluted things that I found myself getting a headache every time I had to backtrack. Heck, I burnt through 3 scripts for the very first video in the series alone. But at the very end, ultimately, I still enjoyed it. The fact this tale had me thinking so critically is honestly the reason I came to love it so much, and especially that finale. And yes, a lot of people's headcanons can absolutely be destroyed by a lot of the things that happen in the story, but ultimately, I've come to realize it was worth it. Paptimus Scirocco has always been a character that people associate with some of the most evil things that have happened in Gundam, but by ignoring that and taking the things he did leave behind after his demise, you find something actually quite good. And I'm not talking about the giant prototype Angel Halo superweapon. I'm talking about the people. Despite never truly knowing him and being forced into the chains of his legacy by those who would commit further evils, they found peace and freedom in knowing that they fought and won the right to not be bound by those chains. Masahiro and Fiorina especially. The two of them, despite having their entire realities shattered by these events, proved that they aren't the catalyst for such unforgivable evils. Instead, they proved the opposite, the two of them being a genuine force for good, something all new types and people should aspire to be. When I first created this series, I wanted it to be looked at with the same kind of lens that something like Gaia Gear was. Over time, though, my opinions about this story shifted and were remolded by the things I had learned while reading it. And even despite reaching the ending, I actually still feel the same way I did when I first started this. There's one truth I knew most well when it came to the key comparison between Walpurgis' protagonist and Gaia Gear's. However, it's one that causes them to reflect each other. Gaia Gear is the story of the acceptance of one's legacy, learning from it, and learning to live and grow beyond it, while Walpurgis is the rejection of legacy, the idea of proving that you are not your forebears and the mistakes that they made are not the same ones you'll make in your life. Despite all the pain this video series cost me, despite all the madness I have endured to retell it to you, I still recommend it. Not for the sake of making you suffer as I have, but to challenge you, to challenge yourself. This story is complex, very much so, believe me. Believe me. However, still, try giving it a read. I know despite it, you'll find something that you'll love. Anyways, that'll be it for this final video on Gundam Walpurgis. This project went dormant for a long time, but I can finally stop thinking about it, and I hope you've enjoyed the ride of us getting there. Remember to check out my other Gundam series, where I go into other obscure big Gundam stories from throughout the franchise, and I'll see you in the next one. Remember to like, comment, and subscribe. Turn on notifications to make sure you're caught up with my future projects. Check out our Discord if you want to join our community and talk about Gundam, and I'll see you in the next one. Goodbye.